Detroit Lions fans, Stephen Will back with Detroit Den 313. You know what to do before we get going. Hit that subscribe button. Helps us out tremendously, man. Trying to grow the channel and do some more giveaways. We had 2 crazy giveaways. Number 3 should be even bigger. I hear Steve is giving away season tickets on the next one. So that said, Steve, what the heck are we talking about, man?
Your sources are wrong. There's no way the Perkins household can afford another set of season tickets with what the Detroit Lions are doing to us with those yearly prices going up and up. Today's kind of interesting, Will. We were talking about some mock drafts that we had seen from some local writers, some ESPN writers. I don't know what you want to call this, a reaction, a thought process, of trying to comprehend, trying to understand where some people are coming from or thinking is the boat I'm in. I don't know how you feel, but I want to start with what I saw from Mike Tannenbaum of ESPN and something that he whipped up in his mock draft where it's right here. It doesn't have Mike Tannenbaum's name on it, but this is from ESPN, a screenshot from my phone I was looking through earlier. It has the Detroit Lions selecting safety from Georgia. Go Dogs. Malaki Starks. Now, William, let me set the table just a little bit. I'm just going to put the napkins out, and I'll let you bring the dinner to the table here in a second. Mike Tannenbaum lost all credibility with me at the NFL trade deadline this past year when he was proposing that the Detroit Lions pretty much sell the city of Detroit and ship it all off to Cleveland for Myles Garrett in return. 3 first-round picks, Jahmyr Gibbs, and a second-round pick to get Myles Garrett is what he was proposing. Former GM, I understand now why we use the word former, because that trade didn't make sense. But I actually kind of do like Malaki Starks. So let's talk about it. Will, how do you feel about him?
I mean, first things first, I'm confused at the problem that you had with the trade. I mean,
where do
if we get him,
Jahmyr Gibbs is where I have the problem. I wore this shirt on purpose today, Will.
Why? I mean, it's an absolute guarantee. It's a proven fact, and people don't understand. If you get Max Crosby, if you get Trey Hendrickson, if you get Myles Garrett, you automatically win the Super Bowl. You don't even have to play the games. It's an automatic Detroit Lions win of the Super Bowl. So why we don't want to mortgage the farm to get it? Listen, Brad, there's not too many things that I got to just slap your little bottom and tell you you're wrong on, but it's definitely not that one. People are nuts, man. People are nuts. If you guys don't know, I'm being sarcastic. So if you're already typing, you can stop. I'm just playing. But Malaki Starks, man, he's an athlete. He's an athlete. I will say, as I talk about him, I'll load in some footage. If it wants to play. I don't know what's going on here. Having some technical difficulties here.
You stealing that Wi-Fi from Chick-fil-A? What's going on over there?
Hey, maybe I need to leave the Starbucks here and go get my home Wi-Fi. Let's see if I can get it like this. There we go. Yeah. Is it rolling? How's it looking? I'm getting a glitch on my end. All right. So listen, that first play there is pretty much everything you need to know about him. He's an absolute dog, man, as far as athleticism. Great guy at the point at the catch point, man. Makes plays on the ball. Athlete, solid tackler, man. He's not a guy that's going to lay the boomstick. Smart as you can see, he's not fooled by misdirection. Like I said, he's not a guy that's going to lay the boomstick on you, but he's a sure tackler. And then, if you know anything about Georgia's defense, Steve, they produce a phenomenal defense every year, right? So this is a guy who worked his way into the starting lineup as a freshman and then spent 3 full seasons as a starter there.
Is that Jalen Milroe getting tackled behind the line of scrimmage? I thought he was more athletic than that.
No, that wasn't Milroe. That wasn't Milroe. You're mistaken. No. But bottom line, man, this kid can play. I love his game. No arguments from here as far as his skill set. But should the Detroit Lions select him at pick 28? I don't think so. I don't think so. I just don't see it. And to be honest, I don't see a guy who's better than either one of our safeties, to be honest. And I know we got some phenomenal safeties. That's no knock on him, but I don't see him being better than Kirby Joseph or Brian Brandt. So I don't understand why you select him unless you're just saying, hey, Kirby Joseph, we're not paying you. Here's your replacement. If that's the case, I still wouldn't get it, man, because as Amon-Ra St. Brown says, safety is the easiest position to play in the NFL. Why am I going to draft one at 28 when I have other positions that are more important right now to fill? That's kind of where I sit on it. Steve, where you at?
I texted you the other day when I saw this and we were kind of exchanging texts, and then I thought I said something stupid. You just kind of up and ghosted me. Like, I don't know. I thought we were about to like go out on a date and things were about to get real serious with us, and then you disappeared. Um, I don't know, just ghosted me. Changed your phone number. My text went from blue to green. I don't know what that's all about. Did you block my number or something? Because I told you if the Detroit Lions drafted Malaki Starks, it tells me two things. The first thing it tells me is that the Detroit Lions have 100% trust in Marcus Davenport, because I am 100% on the island of a defensive end / edge in the first round, if not at least a D tackle. The second thing it tells me is exactly what you just said. Kirby Joseph's out the door. I will say that I think Malaki Starks is more physical than Kirby Joseph, but Kirby has such a high IQ of where to be and how to read the quarterback's eyes. He's elite at ball hawking. But when it comes to like getting up there and absolutely stuffing someone, I don't think that's Kirby's style of play, and I'm not knocking him. But I'll say this about Mr. Tannenbaum. He might have a very good eye for talent. Don't want him running my franchise and in charge of my trades. And at least he picked a guy that is at least on the defensive side of the football. So I'll give him that. We have been talking a lot about the two outside corners. We both believe it's going to be Amik Robertson and DJ Reed as their corners. And then we've had a conversation about who's going to play the nickel. I think we have enough guys that we should have that solution fixed, but it might tell me that if we draft a Malaki Starks, do you think he's going to come in and play nickelback for us?
No, because he doesn't cover man to man well, in my opinion. I don't see a guy that's going to lock you up man to man. And we like to, hey, pin our ears back, send the camp, send the farm, and then play man to man behind it. I don't see him locking down in that nickel position. I don't care if it's George Kittle or if it's a slot receiver. He's just not that type of guy. He's decent, but I see him more as a guy dropping in zone. And if I'm drafting him to my team, I'm drafting him to play Kirby Joseph's role. I'm drafting him to play deep safety. I will say I got to put some respect on Kirby's name. I believe Kirby's more physical than him. He's more of just a guy that, to me, is just going to get you down. Kirby's going to flip you over and as some people try to say, be dirty and ruin your career. But he's going to hit you on that thigh board, man, and flip you over your head, man, come down super aggressive. I just don't see that out of Malaki, man. I see more of a guy that's gonna hawk tackle you, get you on the ground nice and safe. He's going to get interviewed. He's going to say yes, sir, no, ma'am. Just a polite football player that goes about his business. And just I don't see a lot of nasty. I don't see a lot of crazy grit. I don't see a lot of, I'm not going to say he's not tough. He's just kind of quiet assassin, I guess.
Can I tell you a story that's kind of football related? Every year when me and my wife, when we go down to Disney World on our yearly vacation, when I see someone down there, it's obviously in Florida, so there's a lot of Florida fans, Miami fans. But anytime I see anyone in like another team's SEC gear, I just get in their face and I start barking at them and yell, "Go Dogs!" And I have no connection to the University of Georgia. I just like saying "Go Dogs." Will, like, you might hear me say it one or two more times throughout this episode. Just, we need a Georgia Bulldog on this team, but it's not Malaki Starks. I'm leaning more toward Michael Williams or a Jalen Walker. So I like that he's at least on the defensive side of the ball. I'm with you. I don't think he's a fit for the Detroit Lions. I think we got enough guys that could do the same things, if not better. We have a nice secondary room. So I don't think we need to add another piece there. If we're getting a Georgia Bulldog, it needs to be someone in those front seven, William.
Yeah, I agree with you.
What else we got for today?
Hey, listen, I feel like this one may be a little bit more controversial than even the first one. We're talking, and I feel like I got my PP smacked for wanting to draft a playmaker. I got my PP smacked for trying to get JG a new Ferrari, man. So we got none other than I forget. I think you got it to load it up. There was another mock draft where we were drafting Luther Burden out of Mizzou, right? Ennis Rakestrauss, buddy. You know what I mean? So we were drafting him, man, and he's got game. Let's not get it twisted. But same thing at pick 28. Steve, do you think that's the move?
I will jump off of the Gordie Howe bridge if we draft a wide receiver in the first round. End of story. You will not hear from me again. I will just get up from my chair because I'll be watching the draft at home this year. I'll say my goodbyes to my family and just know that I'm going to be in a better place in about an hour because I cannot watch this team draft a wide receiver. Will, if this were any other draft, and it's not Luther Burden, it has nothing to do with him. I'm glad you mentioned Jared Goff because, in my opinion, he does not deserve to be given any more weapons, any more luxuries. He had everything he had last year, everything set up for success, couldn't get the job done. So now what? I got to go out and give him more? Will, is that what you're saying? I got to go out and give Jared Goff another receiver to get the job done? I can't. I can't do it. I got to get this defense elite. I got to get this defense on par. This offense was top 5 in damn near every stat at any category you want to look up. The Detroit Lions are going to be somewhere in the mix toward the top of the NFL. When you go to look at the defensive side of the football, you can keep scrolling because they're going to be somewhere down towards the bottom. I have to fix this defense. If this was last year's draft or maybe even next year's draft, Luther Burden might be a get to the podium quickly guy. But in this draft, 2025, I just think that there's so many defensive playmakers on the defensive side of the football that just make a ton more sense than giving Jared Goff another weapon.
I don't know, man.
William, don't today with me.
Listen,
Don't.
I'm just gonna say this: when I look at our defense, I don't feel like we're as far as away as everybody seems to think, and I don't know if I'm just crazy and in the minority of that. But when I look at our defense, I feel like we're 2-3 players away from being a problem, like a real problem, a deep problem. What happened last year was an anomaly. We were playing some good football before we got all banged up. And when I look at our defense now, I'm thinking, man, if you add an edge rusher to it, scary. You add an edge rusher and a dual threat linebacker to it. I don't know that we need anything else. So again, if I'm looking at those safeties, no problems there. I'm looking at the corners, no problem there. I'm looking at my nickel, no problem there. Linebacker, my only question mark is, can Derek Barnes do all of the things? But I have no worries about sending him out there. But if you're telling me I could go get a pass rush situational linebacker in this draft, which you can, they're all over the place. I got tiers of them when you're talking about a Landon Jackson, or not Landon Jackson. When you talk about Josiah Stewart, and then you talk about Antoine Powell Ryland, you talk about Donovan Izoroku, man, like that. There's tiers of them: first round, second round, third round. You know what I mean? So, and then when you talk about these edges, same thing. You got tiers of them. You got James Pierce, you got Green, you got Scorton, you got Landon Jackson, you got that. The list goes on, man. You got them for days. So the same thing in tiers: first, second, third round. So when I look at this thing, they're all over the place. So I have no worries about taking one of these picks and going to get a weapon for Jared Goff. I had loaded this clip in, and I'm a visual guy, man. I'm a visual guy. If I'm gonna have J-Mo and Amon-Ra out here, who do I want those other two guys to be? Do I want Khalif Raymond out there? Or do I want to upgrade that slot position and make it Luther Burden? Right? You know what I mean? Do I want that X position to be Timothy Patrick, or do I want to upgrade it with a younger guy who can do some of those same things? So when I think about those illustrations and when I really look at it, I'm like, man, wow. When I'm looking at this defense, when I say, okay, I got Aiden Hutchinson out there, I got DJ Reader out there. At the end of the season, hopefully I got Aleem McNeil out there. And right now, it's Roy Lopez or Levi Onwuzurike. Okay. If I upgrade that edge position, whoo. Who is that? Is that Nick Scorton? Okay. Is that James Pierce? Okay. Like, this defense it gets real scary when you're talking about Amik Roberson, Terry Arnold, Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, Jack Campbell, Alex Anzalone. This defense starts to look up real quick. I don't think we're in a situation where we got to spend all of our picks on loading up on the defense. We can spend 2 to 3 of them. Really, you can spend 2, but you can spend 2 to 3, and then you still got other picks. Like, even if we went with 5, I would be okay with, okay, you get 2 defenders and then 3 offensive players, or you get 3 defenders and 2 offensive players. I just don't think it has to be all defense in my mindset. So that said, in Luther's defense, this dude is a ball player. So I understand the thought process.
Those are some
And I was about
moves
to
right
say,
there. Man.
and he's got some loose hips too. Obviously, he's got some loose hips too. He'll run you over. You can hand it off to him. The guy will make you miss. He's a guy that I feel like would fit right in with guys like JMO. Right, he's going to be a showman. He might run around the stadium after he makes plays. He's a speedster. Almost ran a 4.3. He ran a 4.41. Guy's got great ball skills, although he does have some concentration issues at times. Who could turn this offense on its head? But I will say, yesterday I drafted Isaiah Bond in the third round, Steve?
Yeah.
There's other receivers out there. On top of that, I don't understand why some of the same people that did not want to draft James Pierce are okay with going to get Luther Burden, who has been talked about. And I quote, I took some notes, Steve. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Preach the gospel today.
Mom is a huge problem, right? Girlfriend believes that she's his manager, right? Was going to enter the transfer portal and had to get talked into staying and was coddled and babied. Been talked about by some assistant coaches as a guy who is amazing and phenomenal on Saturday and very regular Monday through Friday. Listen, work ethic questions. These are all things that have been said about him from people around Mizzou, not just scouts. People around Mizzou are leaking information like this. So now that said, I've done some big time digging on James Pierce, and I hate that some of the time this stuff gets traction and it gets ran away with. Right. I did a lot of digging today. I was off today. I did a lot of digging on Luther. This stuff has some legs. It seems like that's the reason why I'm kind of being so harsh with it. It does worry me. If I'm going to draft you at pick 28 at a position that I don't necessarily need, things have to kind of be perfect, or the juice has to be so much worth the squeeze that there's no question. I'm not looking at this guy as a generational talent, right? So I can't risk the biscuit for a guy who's not going to be a generational talent, and he's just going to be good for my team. So it just doesn't make sense to me because of all those questions. Now, maybe if we find out some of that stuff isn't as legit, but there's a lot of things being said, Steve. There's a lot of things being said. But maybe if we find out some of that stuff isn't legit, then maybe I would go a little bit lighter on him. But I just can't see it at 28. And he has been talking about he might fall out of the first round because of all of this stuff that's going on behind the scenes. So I don't know. It's a no for me, but the dude's a heck of a football player.
Listen, William, a lot to digest there. A lot to take in. Big plate of food today. I do agree that at some point in this draft, we should get some offensive help. But for me, it's a matter of when. It's not pick 28. Pick 28, pick 60, I'm locked in defense. You get me what I want after that. Hey, you want to play with some toys? You want to get Isaiah Bond? You want to get some guards? You want to get a linebacker, a safety? That's fine. But I need difference makers on defense. You know who Luther Brown kind of reminds me of just a little bit, and I don't like doing player comparisons. Call me crazy if you want, and I'll take it because I'm not 100% sure I'm in love with this comparison, but he just kind of reminds me of a bigger version of Tank Dell, but a smaller version of Deebo Samuel. Like if they had like a love child, I think he would be born Luther Burden. Just get him the ball in any type of way, let him run. He's got the speed. He's got a little bit of size. He's not overwhelming with size. He's only like 6'1", something like that.
He's 6'1", about 205.
Yeah, so he's not like the biggest guy in the world, but he's got a little size to him. You know, he likes to run behind his pads. I didn't see him going out of bounds in anything I watched today. He's catching the ball. He's trying to fight for every yard. I like that. If we're just talking football play and not off-field stuff, any other draft, if my defense is elite, if my defense is knocking on the door of getting us to a Super Bowl, because I truly believe we're one Aiden Hutchinson injury away from not having any pass rush at all. Lee McNeil, not on the team to start the season. So who's my pass rushers going to be going into week one? Marcus Davenport? How long is that going to last? Is it Roy Lopez? I don't think he's an elite pass rusher. DJ Reader is not really known for getting after the quarterback. So if something happens to Hutch and we don't have Lee McNeil, we're up Schitt's Creek without a paddle again. I want to get us out of the boat we were in last year where our defensive line was just pretty much you and me out there, Will, and we just weren't getting it done. So I need to draft at least two guys. I'm willing to use those picks early. After that, if Brad wants to play and get some toys for Jared and some offensive line help for the future and a safety for the future, if we have to make a decision on Kirby, I'm all for it. But my first two picks, I got to beef up these trenches. Well, I'm locked in on it. I'm not budging. Can't talk me out of it. You could give me $20 million. I wouldn't change my opinion. Just not going to happen.
Yeah, it's just got to make sense for me, man. Like I told you, um, and this could go along with pass rush, but Harmon is somebody that interests me. Uh, Zabel is somebody that interests me as well as a guy that maybe I pick at pick 28. Those are pretty much the guys. Tyler Booker is another one that interests me. A lot of people say that he's scheme dependent. People keep saying that he wouldn't fit the Detroit Lions because of scheme, but
Who's that
the
again?
Detroit, yeah, Tyler Booker.
Yeah,
But
he's a scheme blocker. Yeah, I've seen that in some comments too.
yeah, but I think people got to understand, number one, the Detroit Lions have run zone and gap blocking. So I mean, it's not like we're definitively one way or another. And we haven't seen what Coach Morton is going to be doing yet. And if you know anything about Coach Shaw wants to run it at your face. So if you know anything about him in Stanford and his thought process, so it's no guarantee with how we're going to do things. And Jahmyr Gibbs has shown he can do both. Right. So I'm not going to say that he's going to be a guy who's going to grind you in between the tackles all game, but he's more than capable of running in between the tackles. So I don't know, man. You do what you need to do to fit what your offensive line has and what your team has. I think Tyler Booker would be able to adapt, and he wouldn't have to do it immediately. If you know anything about him coming into Bama, he could do all of the things. As he beefed up, he started to get a little bit less athletic as well. So I don't know, man. His situation doesn't scare me. I'm not so locked into him being a just a mauler who needs to be in the trenches, gap scheme. Like I don't buy into that, but I do like Zabel more, if I'll be honest, just because he can play every position. And what is there not to like about having a guy like that? So he would interest me at pick 28. Those are probably the only things that would get me off of it being an edge, just because I think the edge value and the players are going to be hand in hand. I'm not reaching for the edge if I don't need to. If I feel like we're down to that second tier group of guys, then I'd be more than happy to go in a different route, man. So, I mean, that's what it's about for me. When I'm thinking about the draft or I'm thinking about what the team should do, I'm looking at that personnel on the field. I'm going to watch the game film and I'm thinking, okay, move Timothy Patrick out. Hey, let's put my man from Arizona in there and see what does that look like. Man. Hey, let's move Khalif Raymond out. Let's see what Luther Burden and JMO look like out there. What Amon Ra and Timothy Patrick. What does that look like? Like I'm really trying to get a visual of it. I'm playing with it in my mind, man. I'm just a visual guy that helps me out a lot. And when I look at this defense, when I start, we talked off air about those combinations, Steve, and I ain't gonna give up the sauce on our combinations, but we got some other combinations of guys that we really like in this draft. But when I pull that defense up and then I start talking about those combinations, then I'm just talking about two guys. I'm just talking about two guys. So when I start talking about two guys in this draft and then our same defense, man, even if we're saying that it's Roy Lopez and Levi Onwuzurike inside, even if we're saying it's DJ Reader and Makai Wingo inside, when I change that edge and then maybe that linebacker, if I change that edge and the defensive tackle, our defense, man, it gets scary to me. It gets turned up a whole nother notch, man. To me, I truly think that this draft can be a draft that we will remember for a very long time in Detroit. I think Brad's going to do something special. I do believe that there's going to be some trades. I truly believe that. I did hear a trade rumor today. I'm not going to mention it because we might end up doing a show on it. I'm still standing on the Hendon Hooker trade. I still think that could be a potential. We're going to go get a pick 30 or 33 or 34, 37. and it might be an additional to pick 28. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. You know what I mean? So, Steve,
William, can I tell you
I
something real
can't wait.
quick? Because
Talk to me.
I was thinking about this last night, and I got so excited about it, I almost called you, but I was like, no, I gotta wait. I'll talk to him tomorrow. Hear me out. All right? Hear me out. It's a little out there, I think. I don't know if you're gonna love the idea, but I do like Marcus Davenport and what he has to offer. The only problem with him is health, availability. If we're living in a perfect world where we put Marcus Davenport into a bubble and wrap him in saran wrap all throughout the season and he plays and he's healthy, I was thinking, what if in some situations, not all, not 24/7, not every snap, what if we move Marcus Davenport to defensive tackle and we have a James Pierce, a Landon Jackson, a Lee McNeil, Aiden Hutchinson, and it's kind of a NASCAR package with a couple big boys who can rush the passer. Now I'm looking at Davenport. He's 6'6", listed as 265 pounds. That's a big man. Second biggest guy on that defensive line next to Aiden Hutchinson height-wise. Do you think that that's a realistic scenario where we have edge, James Pierce, defensive tackle, Marcus Davenport, defensive tackle, Ali McNeil, defensive end, Aiden Hutchinson?
Who was the edge?
Hutch and James Pierce, or take your pick of anyone in this draft.
I'll be honest. I'd rather have Levi Onwuzurike in there than Marcus Davenport. Honestly, at the DT spot, I'd rather have Levi in there. It's just not something that I've known Davenport to do, man. Like, and then it's rougher in there than it is outside. I wouldn't put him down in there to be in a tougher situation. Now, if you're saying 15 snaps a season or something, like super situational,
just like third and 15, get after someone.
Anything can happen in a moment. Anything can happen in a moment. I think you're going to see Mekhi Wingo playing defensive end in a moment. You know what I mean? So anything can happen in a moment for a player or two here and there, for a situation here and there, for a certain game here and there, like not full game, but like pass rush game. You could see it here and there. But for any volume or snaps, I'm not putting Marcus Davenport down inside of the trenches. You know what I mean? Just because I haven't known him to do it, and I don't know if it fits his skill set either, just because Marcus Davenport is somebody that's going to line up in a 7 or a 9. He's going to bull rush you, show you that he's more man than you.
I'm glad you said that, Will. I'm glad you said that. I teed you up. What's his best pass rush? A bull rush. What do I want him to do in this package? I want you to just take that guard for a fucking ride. I want you to just push him directly back into a quarterback. That's all I want you to do.
I get it, but it's just guards are different than tackles, right? A tackle is going to kick step, set up, and try to anchor you, where lots of guards, man, are used to blocking down on you, pulling, being athletic, mauling you. Like I just don't know if you're trying to bull rush Christian Mahogany. I just don't know if he's having it. If you're bull rushing Taylor Decker, it might be a little different. Is all I'm saying. Like, you know what I mean? If you're bull rushing Tyler Booker, you're meeting violence with some of these guys. So I don't know. I would rather have him bull rushing a guy who's long, athletic, and worried about you running by him. You know, he's trying to panic, and and then all of a sudden you're speed to power on him. But guards, I don't know.
I have a follow-up question, William. I'll raise my hand.
What you got?
Do you have Levi Onwuzurike pajamas at your house? Because I think you have a huge crush on him.
I like him, man. I just like his game, man. I do. I like his game. He's not my absolute favorite in the world, but he's just one of those guys. He's a spork, Steve. He's a spork. You know what I mean?
I like sporks. They confuse me. I don't know what to really do with them. They don't always work. Sometimes they break in the little plastic wrapper, and now I have a broken spork.
Yeah, listen, I got a metal spork that I carry to work every single day. Got a nice little case for my silverware.
Do you ever eat ice cream with a spork?
I never have, but I would imagine it would be nice because it just cut right through that ice cream. And it's got the little teeth to dig right in rather than that little smooth rim on it. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you,
you got to, yeah.
I'll tell you the trick is you get a spoon that has just come out of the dishwasher, so it's a little warm, a little hot, and it cuts right through that ice cream. That'll change your life, I promise you.
I mean, it doesn't make any difference because for me, I'm always going to run the hot water on the spoon before I put it in the ice cream.
Same effect.
Yeah, absolutely. But I just like that he can play inside and outside, man, and he can play pass rush games. He's never going to be the guy that's going to be the superstar of your team, but man, if somebody goes down on the edge, he can band-aid it for a week. Somebody's down inside, he can play that on the inside. That's originally what we drafted him for. So I don't know, man. I just feel like he adds a lot of value to our team quietly.
Levi Onwuzurike is kind of like me when I play Madden. Like he can do a lot of things. That doesn't mean he's very good at it. It's like when I play Madden, I can play Madden. I'm just not any good at it. It's just I don't know. I'm not very high on Levi Onwuzurike. I'm glad he's back. I think he's a solid depth piece for what he is, but I need junkyard dogs that get to the quarterback and can finish the job sometimes, not just pressures. I know sacks is not the tell all be all of a stat or a player's progression or anything like that, but sometimes I just need to see you put a quarterback on his ass, and I didn't see it enough from Levi last year, and he had the golden opportunity out of anyone on the defensive line to do so. So didn't get the job done. I think we need to upgrade. And I'm just throwing out an idea of Marcus Davenport playing D tackle. I just look at his size. He's a strong bull rusher. Hey, man, let's just at least see. If you see him line up at D tackle just one time this season, Will, I'm going to know Kelvin Shepard watched this episode. I'm going to know he did. Shep was watching.
He's played a lot of football. When I get off of here, I'll see how many snaps he has at DT and see if he's done anything from it. You know,
I can't picture it off the top of my head.
But Levi, man, in Levi's defense, man, it's not his job. That's not what he was being asked for him. Even when he went bumped out the outside, his job was to set the edge. Like his job was to close the back door. Like send the flow back the other way. That's how Muhammad and those other guys, the Darius Smith, that's how those guys were getting sacks, man. Levi shutting down closing the back door. Like he's never going to be a guy that you're putting out there to pass rush, but he was winning, man. He was winning, and he was athletic enough to play games on the inside, man. He was doing those tackle stunts from the inside. He was doing, the stunts from even playing defensive end. And I keep saying this, our very first snap, we started our season off with Levi Onwuzurike starting on the D line last year. I don't foresee it changing going into the following season. I think he's probably going to start on the D line day one for the Detroit Lions.
I still have the live feed up from Ford Field from Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen with a clean pocket. And yeah, I'm still looking at Jaden Daniels. He's still standing there getting through his progressions and picking us apart. Baker Mayfield, if you take out Aiden Hutchinson, yeah, we didn't get any pressures. Well, just got to upgrade. We just got to get better on the front. So
I think it'll be different.
Yeah. I want to throw this up one more time. It's from our guy, don't know you, Brad Berriman. Read your article. I just found this name to be interesting. First time I had seen a wide receiver mocked to the Lions. Caught my attention. We wanted to hop on here and talk about it. We're not dissing you. Just an interesting name. If that's truly what you feel, that's what you feel. Opinions are opinions. Everyone has their own. You got anything else for tonight, Will?
Luther Burden will not get drafted at pick 28.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But it is an interesting name. Like I said, any other draft, we'd probably be having a much stronger conversation about making this a realistic possibility, but I just don't see it in 2025. Stick around, hit that like button. We'll be back later with another show.
Peace.